today. Along with my 50 or so fellow band members, I welcome you to the fall concert of the Peninsula Symphonic Band. The band's goal is to make the next 75 minutes so enjoyable that you will say this concert was, quote, out of this world, unquote, which is to say really good. Our pieces generally look to the heavens for inspiration. As you will hear, there is plenty of it in the stars and the galaxies. Started by welcoming to the stage our musical director, Ted Henderson. The first piece in our program is Looking Upward, Mars and Venus, composed by John Philip Sousa. When you hear or see the name John Philip Sousa, what music comes to mind? Well, of course, all of those great marches, for sure. But Sousa wrote in many genres, including light operas, suites, vocal solos, and much more. He composed the Looking Upward Suite in 1902. He used two melodies from an earlier operetta in this three-part composition. We're actually going to play the third part. The idea for this movement came while Sousa was gazing at the heavens on a clear evening. Here is Mars and Venus from Sousa's Looking Upward Suite. Thank you. Our next selection is entitled Flight, composed by Claude Smith. This is the first of two very different pieces that have the same title. This flight is the official march of the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. It was commissioned by the U.S. Air Force Band in 1984. It premiered in November of that year, 1984. A recording of Flight is heard as visitors enter the Air and Space Museum. You will probably recognize the famous theme of Popple Bells, canon in D, in the early part of this piece. Claude Smith, the composer, was a highly accomplished and honored composer, educator, clinician, and guest conductor. He wrote more than 180 works for band, orchestra, and choir, as well as 3 instructional books for band and orchestra. Here is Flight by Claude Smith. Our next selection is highlights from Rocketman with words and music by Elton John and Bernie Taupin and arranged by Johnny Vincent. The 2019 film Rocketman is a dramatic depiction of Elton John's rise to pop stardom, and it shows plenty of the turbulence that he experienced. What never faltered were Elton John's penchant for memorable melodies and Bernie Taupin's strong lyrics. Now, in 2023, Elton John's legacy has long since been secured, and Bernie Taupin was inducted this fall into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've heard and maybe danced to the 4 songs included in our medley. Here are highlights from Elton John's Rocketman. That's the night the musical Hair arrived on Broadway. The show portrayed changes that were convulsing America in that watershed year. Hair featured nudity, foul language, and political rants. But we'll spare you all of that. The group called the Fifth Dimension had a big hit with the songs that we'll play. Plus, unusual for us, we're fortunate to have 3 terrific singers joining us for this one. First, Ajuana Black is our alto. Ajuana has been a teacher for 25 years and is currently at KIPP Charter School in San Lorenzo. Welcome, Ajuana. Next, Tammy McClarty is our soprano. Tammy has been affiliated with the Fremont School District since 1996. Welcome, Tammy. And our tenor is April Henderson. You may recognize that April's last name matches that of our conductor. They have been a married couple for a lot of years. April is with the Foothill De Anza Community College. Welcome, April. Following Aquarius and Let the Sun Shine In, we will break for intermission. Here we go with Aquarius and Let the Sun Shine In. for our second half. Our next selection is our second piece titled Flight. This one is composed by Brian Balmages. In 2004, Spaceship One won $10 million when it became the first privately built manned spacecraft to fly above 62 miles. That's 328,000 feet. And Spaceship One did it twice in 2 weeks. This piece commemorates that prize-winning flight. In the midst of this piece is a section featuring our bells. The band's own Rodney Martin, our great percussionist who is also a space enthusiast and is affiliated with NASA, says that an interpretation of this section with the bells is an attempt to express musically the experience of weightlessness as Spaceship One went beyond the atmosphere. Here is Flight by Brian Balmages. Our next piece is Planet Dances, composed by John Montgomery. Here is the piece that provides challenges for the audience and the band, including passages in 5/8 time. Sometimes we count the 5/8 as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and sometimes as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The music spans moods and styles, to put it mildly. Composer John Montgomery has described his career in this way, quote, "As a touring musician, a music educator, and a retired conductor of the United States Army Band, I have written for and conducted beginners through university and professional levels," unquote. I doubt that he tried this one out on beginners. Ted had a couple of opportunities to talk with the composer, John Montgomery, about interpretations of various passages. Here is Planet Dances, composed by John Montgomery.
I am going to introduce the next piece. We're going to take a brief break from our Out of This World. I wanted to talk a little bit about the piece we're playing, Peace Dancer, and our own Bay Area Native Indigenous people, the Molecular Ohlone. I'll start with the composer. Her name is Jodie Blackshaw. She's literature. We have all been in band for a long, long time and played the same composers. And there weren't a lot of women, there weren't a lot of people of color in that list. And so now that we have those composers, she's being active about promoting that we diversify who we play. One of the things she's done is create the Female Band Composers Database. I didn't know it was her, but I've been using it for years to find composers to make sure that we are diversifying who you all get to listen to. Along that point of activism, the Molecular Ohlone have been in this area for over 2,000 years. In 1925, they were designated to be to be extinct. And the government took that and denied them federal recognition. Well, 10 years ago, San Francisco was building a new utilities building, and whenever that happens, California has a policy, not a law, but a policy, that anyone whose ancestors' remains might be disturbed are involved. And so, University of Illinois, Stanford, the Ohlone, San Francisco Public Utilities all worked together, exhumed 12 bodies, did DNA testing, and found out that they are directly connected to people who are still alive, who've been saying the whole time, we are still here. So you would think immediately, okay, you can have federal recognition. However, these days federal recognition comes with gaming, and some people are against gaming. And so our California legislators are telling the Molecular, we'll recognize you if you say you're not going to do gaming. Now, they have publicly said that they're not interested in gaming, but they also say they don't want conditional recognition. So what I wanted to do was let you know about it. So you can have conversations among yourself, you can do the research yourself, you can have the conversations, and whoever you might influence, so it might be one person that you be in touch with, and talk about this, and see how that sits with you. We have so much, I think have a responsibility to help those who don't have so much. And certainly, if this was your land, and now you have no claim and none of the benefits from recognition, we can maybe help them do that. So I picked this piece, Peace Dancer, and I'd like to perform it now. Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. We all hope you have a great holiday season. Our next concert, our winter concert, will be here on Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. So that will be at 3 on the third day of the third month. A little earlier in March than usual. We hope you will join us then. Our last selection for this afternoon is Symphonic Suite from the Star Trek by Giacchino and others. When you were watching Star Trek as a kid, did you know that you were seeing a classic show? That show grew into television spin-offs and several movies. This medley from Star Trek features Giacchino's score for the 2009 revival of the Star Trek franchise. The piece pays its respects to the original TV theme in a fresh way. Composer Giacchino's film score credits include Coco, Jojo Rabbit, The Batman, and others. His score for the Pixar movie Up won an Oscar in 2009. So let's boldly go forward with a medley from Star Trek.
As always, I want to thank you for loaning me your families on Monday night. I'm sure there's stuff you want to have them do. Thank you for waiting until Tuesday. I thank the band. It was not an easy program. I appreciate the hard work that you put in to pull it off. I think we got a really good show. Very, very happy with the way we sound. Looking forward to next March 3rd. The singers are very excited. They'd like us to write something else and bring them back again. Should I bring the singers? Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you all in the spring. Thank you. tolerate.